Hi, I'm Sandy Schroeck for LBR Inspires, and today we're going to create a memorial garden out of permanent botanicals. So to start off with, I have a couple varieties of containers here. This is a plastic container, or I have the new Ecossential container from Smithers Oasis that's kind of in a rectangle pattern. This pot's going to be used for a more traditional shape, but this elongated rectangle planter could be used for more of a vegetative garden design. I've used the dry foam in here, and you can see that I'm using my foam scraps to lock in that foam into the container, so I don't have to use additional mechanics to lock that in. I've done the same on here. Another tip for it to be outside actually is to drill a hole, which I forgot my drill today. So these don't have holes drilled in, but they will once we finish them up. So same thing on the Ecossential. If you're gonna do it for an outdoor planter, I would definitely drill a hole in it. So let's take a look at starting this. We have some moss. I've got the tabletop silk stem cutter, and that's what I'm going to use to be able to cut down some of these bushes. I want to use the bushes on their main stem as the way it's going to be the fastest for me. And so we're just going to come in, and you can add just a layer of moss in here, or another cute trick to do to make it look a little bit more like soil would be to use the orchid bark. That's one thing that I like to use in some of my permanent botanical planters that I do for interior decor. And so it just has a little bit more of that soil feeling. So we just have the moss covering there. And then we're gonna start on our bushes and look at them and just start to spread those out, see which has the biggest presence, and that's what we're gonna start with. I'm going to cut off a little bit on this bottom stem, and you can see how this stem cutter really works very well to be able to utilize that to create the planter. Come in here, and we're just going to spread them out enough, and then we come in with our second material and spread these out, leaving the couple tall, and then we're just going to marry them together. Come in, the stem's short enough that I don't need to do an additional cut, and then come in with the rose bush stem. Just cut a little bit off of that, and this tool, I have carpal tunnel, and so it's one of those can't live without tools. We do have them here available for sale at LenBusch, and I would highly recommend, if you don't have one, to get one in. And so I'm just giving a little bit of life to these, bending them out, and then spreading out the bud and the flower. One other tip on some of the less expensive permanent botanicals would be to color enhance them with just for flowers, like the purple pansy or bougainvillea on that green hydrangea. You could tint it a little bit and have it be a little bit more antique-y and give you a little bit more realistic coloring and a little bit more depth on that. But you can see I'm not cutting them off the main stem. I'm just nesting these together, and then I'll start winding them to be able to shape them into the different areas on this. But you want to be efficient with your insertions and keep it on that main stem whenever possible. So next we're going to come in with some foliage, and I have a variegated ivy here, and I'm just going to come in from the middle and all the way out. Get that to weave up in, give it a little bit of life. So you can see that's making a great combination, simple and easy, fast to put together. And then lastly, we're going to come in on this Forsythia bush, and we do have some long insertions on here, and so to have it feel a little bit more like it's connected to the container, I am going to cut out some of those main stems, but I still can use this middle piece as well, and just come in with those into the design. So here's our final design. You can see this would make a great memorial garden or a great adornment for your front step. You can see I did do some color enhancement with the Just for Flowers bougainvillea spray on those hydrangeas, just to tone it down, give it a little bit more of an antique look. Using this stem cutter is one of the lifesavers. So if you don't have one, I'd contact your sales rep as soon as possible to get one in your stores so that you can make these memorial gardens and sell them to your customers. I'm Sandy Schroeck for LenBusch, and I hope I inspired you to create some fabulous florals.